Houston is booming, right? But before you get too excited about buying your next or your first rental property in Houston, Texas, here are my 7 brutally honest reasons you should never invest in Houston real estate and exactly how you can avoid them to be a smart rental property landlord. You see, I've made some of these mistakes myself and I've seen it firsthand happening to clients and people around me. They lose tens of thousands of dollars because no one ever told them the truth upfront. And that is why I'm making this video, so you can avoid it. You know all this information firsthand, and that should guide you to make an informed decision. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Wale Lawal. I'm an investor agent here in Houston, Texas. I'm also a rental property investor, and I've helped hundreds of people to actually take action to buy their first or their next or their 10th rental property in Houston, Texas. So after purchasing my 3rd rental property in about year 2020, I was thinking I'm already set for life, that I'm now financially free. But within 6 months, surprises, tax bill, landlord insurance hike, some unexpected repair almost wiped out my cash flow. And I will never forget Sandra. Sandra is a pediatrician from Katy, Texas. She bought a single family home in a wrong location, which is a flood zone, without checking insurance premium, and her property got flooded unfortunately, and her insurance deduction was around $11,000 because she bought in a flood zone without proper guidance. It doesn't have to be like that. That shouldn't be you, and nobody should go through that horror experience. And that's why I'm making this video today. Today I will be showing you the top 7 hidden risks of investing in Houston real estate, and you should avoid all this at all costs or put contingency in place to avoid them. I'll also be sharing some real client example or my personal example to make sure I illustrate this risk and of course guide you to the right path. I'll also be sharing some practical solutions that you can actually implement to avoid them and also avoid you losing your sleep. So stick around to the end of the video because you don't want to miss my number 7, because it's the silent killer that no guru talks about. They just tell you all the fancy part. It is the reason that most investors get wiped out and they never return back to real estate investing. According to the Houston Association of Realtors, over 45% of new real estate investors who buy their first rental property here in Houston typically sell it within 5 years. Not because they wanted to sell it, but because they didn't plan for the real cost of ownership. So without further ado, let's get to the 7 major reasons that you should avoid buying rental property in Houston and what exactly you can do to mitigate this risk if you still choose to invest here in Houston, Texas. The reason number 1 is property taxes are high in Houston or in Texas generally. Houston, as you probably know, has some of the highest property tax in America. In Harris County alone, effective tax rate exceed 2.61%. When I bought my first rental property in Houston, I underestimated property taxes by around $2,300. That in the first year, that was an entire month of rent that is gone that I can never see again. You can also call it a rookie mistake because at that time, I don't know what I don't know, and I hope you can avoid my own mistake. So what can you do about these high property taxes in Texas? You can definitely buy in a low tax neighborhood and zip code like your 77046, 031, 005, 007, 064, 051, 033, and 006. These zip code have less than 1.5% annual property tax rate. In addition, they ensure that you have to ensure that your rent to price ratio is strong enough to absorb the property taxes in case there is a tax unnecessary or unexpected tax increase in that zip code. The reason number 2 why you should avoid buying in Houston, Texas is the flood risk and rising insurance premium. Flooding is real here in Houston. There is no way to beat about the bush. In 2024, FEMA announced insurance rate in Houston could rise up to 17% over 2 years. This is why I don't typically buy property in a flood zone, and I don't recommend you buy in a flood zone except you are very experienced and you know what you're doing. Sandra deductible nightmare I shared with you earlier, right? You remember that? That's exactly why you always check the flood map and partner with an experienced investor agent to guide you through the process. Avoid the 100-year and 500-year flood zone. Your zone E, zone AE, you want to avoid them. Buy in a zone X. Use FEMA flood map and budget for higher insurance premium in case the unexpected does happen. Your investor agent can point you to buy in a zone X because we have a way we can see the zone that the property belongs to, and that should definitely guide you. The third reason why you should avoid to buy your rental property in Houston if you can is overbuilding in some areas. Midtown and downtown are seeing some massive multifamily overbuilding. According to the recent article in Houston Chronicle published in June 27, 2025, it says that Houston's multifamily vacancy rate is around 11.3%, which is near a 20 years high we have seen in Houston. Now, as a smart investor, what can you do about this one? You can work with an investor-focused agent like myself to identify the undersupply micro market instead of buying in a trendy area just because everyone is buying there. Now, the number 4 reason is the weak tenant protection law. Texas is a landlord-friendly state, no doubt about that, which is a great thing, but lack of tenant protection means high turnover if you screen tenants poorly. So you want to make sure to always do a full background check, verify their income, set a strict lease term and criteria. And for my unit, I use Hemlin.com for tenant screening and management to keep my process professional and very consistent among all my properties. The number 5 reason is heavy competition from out of state and out of country investors. Houston was number 3 cities for out of state investors purchased in 2023. According to roofstock.com, report says that investor purchases here in Houston has increased by 28% in 2023 alone. In addition to the no state tax, no capital gain, plus Governor Greg Abbott just proposed to lower property taxes and has increased the competition on available good deals in Texas generally. A lot of out of state and out of the country, which are foreign investors, are taking massive advantage of this Houston investment and business landscape, and they are coming in volume to buy rental properties here in Houston, Texas. So what can you do about it? You should clearly define your investment goals, define your buy box, that is your buying criteria, and stick to it, even if it means you have to wait for 3 to 6 months before you can find something that makes sense for your investment goal. Now, you should also focus on building a solid working relationship with your investor agent, because some of these investor agents will help you get an off-market deal if you have a good relationship with them. And this is why relationship always matters whenever you're working with an investor agent, because investor agent can actually help make you fortune as compared to your regular agent. You can also do a direct mail to the seller yourself. You can start some campaign like your direct mail. You can do some, cold calling if you want to hire some VA to do that for you, among other ways that you can directly market to the seller yourself. And of course, this will cost you some money. So if you're not ready for that, stick to working with an investor agent, and that will make your life easier. Now, by the way, if you want to get a recommendation for an investor agent in your market, comment the word agent and I will send you a recommendation that can help make your life easier. And if you're in the Texas market, you can definitely work with me directly. You can find my contact information in the description below. And that takes me to the reason number 6, which is slow but steady appreciation. People always say that appreciation isn't guaranteed in the first 1 to 2 years of purchasing, but after double-digit growth post-pandemic, Houston average appreciation has slowed down to around 4.1% in 2024. This is according to HAR.com. Now, while the appreciation is a little bit slow, you can still cash flow in your first year if you analyze the property correctly, and appreciation should also be in your mind, but I would say do not 100% rely on appreciation. Some of my rental property actually cash flow around $300 to $500 per month after all expenses, after all reserve activity have been taken care of. So I really don't care about the market cycle. I just try to buy a good deal every single time. Number 7 reason why you should avoid to buy your rental property in Houston is if you lack hyperlocal knowledge of Houston real estate. Houston is very massive. Streets can actually change the value by block, and buying in the wrong location can mean that you are not gonna cash flow, or you're gonna be dealing with a lot of trouble if your projection were wrong. So what can you do about this? You can work with an investor agent like I mentioned, and again, if you need my recommendation, comment the word agent and I will recommend that investor agent for you. I analyze deal daily, and I advise clients on what streets, what neighborhood, and what zip code to buy in and what zip code to avoid, like the path of 77016 with a low rent growth despite the cheaper purchase price. Now, if this is an eye-opening video for you and you're finding value here, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so I can let you know the next time I have a new video. Look, Houston real estate isn't bad. I've got 7-figure rental portfolio here in Houston, but it's only good if you do it smart way and you partner with the right investor agent. So do not pressure yourself to scale really fast. You don't need to buy 10 rental property this year. Just put a plan in place to buy 1 rental property every single year and do it consistently and do it smart, and you will thank your future self. So if you are tired of watching multiple videos and sitting on the fence, comment the word invest and I will send you my free Houston investor guide with the best zip code for cash flow in 2025. Now I welcome you to watch this video before you go, where I walk you through how to buy your first or your next rental property step by step without any guesswork. Again, I'm Wale Lawal. Thank you for watching till the end, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.